My name is Paul Maclurg. My wife and I own a fitness center in Lacey, Washington. Thank you so much for taking our questions. Mandated orders have caused small businesses around the state to be shut down for 2 months, and gyms have another 6 weeks to go. Every month, our business loses over $100,000 in revenue that pays employees, pays vendors across the state, and so much more, and cares for the physical, mental, and emotional health of thousands of Washingtonians. In a very real sense, the government has essentially taken away our ability to take in over $400,000 of revenue, but without offering recompense. My question is, what will you do to expedite the opening of small businesses around the state? And when would opening up in civil disobedience for the greater good of Washingtonians be appropriate for a small business like ours?
All right, let's go back to Representative Wilcox.
Well, thank you for putting a face and some emotion into just how challenging this is. And I'm a small business person too, and fortunate that a large part of what we do is still viable because we do grocery, but certainly the food service sector of our business has been damaged as well. And I think that price that you're talking about has been ignored in many ways. And it's not just about dollars. I've also rejected the argument that this is about lives and dollars. On both sides of this equation, there are lives, there's dollars on both sides, there's dreams, there's the system that we all love to live with here that I think is threatened if we cannot quickly find ways for small businesses to operate. And as I said a little bit earlier, the governor's making all the rules right now. And I, for one, don't feel like I'm getting very much input. So what I am really trying to do is do as much as I can to shift the discussion, talk about the price that some parts of our commercial sector is paying, and do everything that I can to make it both more possible and more likely that the governor rapidly looks at how you can do these things safely. And as far as the civil disobedience part, I'm not going to recommend that, but I have pointed out to the governor's staff many times that unless our approach seems more fair, more logical, and more equitable across the board, the willingness of the public to comply will not last. And I think that should be one of his absolutely top concerns. You can't do this by compulsion, I don't think. You only do this when the vast majority of people agree that they're part of a system that's effective and fair. And I agree with you. That is a terribly important part of the equation.
All right, Representative Springer.
Interesting that the question came from a fitness center. I had a conversation yesterday with another fitness center, somebody I've known who owns a small fitness center. I'm not sure what the right terms are. It is not a gym or an athletic club. It is a small fitness center where people come in very small numbers, 1, 2, 3 at a time, work with a personal trainer. And he was asking me pretty much the same question. And my advice to him then was, you're sort of lumped in with gyms, meaning large athletic clubs, and it's not the same type of operation. And that's where JT and I have had these conversations before, in that you make decisions about categories of business, and then the first thing you find out is all of the exceptions to that category, and then try to deal with those. My suggestion to the gentleman I talked with yesterday was, see if you can figure out a way to adopt the public health protocols that apply to those businesses in phase 2, and you're in phase 3. If you could make the commitment that you can meet all those protocols that businesses in phase 2 have to meet, maybe we should allow you to open too. And so he's doing that along with some other smaller fitness centers. I told him to get that information to me or to anybody else that is working with the governor's office, and we can see if there's some accommodation that can be made. It's difficult. The timing it takes to do that is slow and frustrating, and I get that. The other suggestion that I think I hear a lot is one of the best things people can do to assure they can get their businesses open in a timely fashion is to make sure that they adhere to the public health protocols that we've all been asked to adhere to. Stay home when you can, as often as you can. Wear a mask in public. As long as we all do those common sense everyday things, the number of cases will go down, and that will help us get other categories of businesses open sooner. And I'm amazed at the amount of time I go to the grocery store and less than half the people in there are wearing masks, and it's kind of surprising. And if we can adhere to those protocols, we can get case numbers down and businesses open sooner.
Any comment about the second half of this question?
Oh, the disobedience part. I would agree with JT 100%. JT and I've had this conversation too, and we even had this in the governor's task force when we were meeting regularly. And the notion that if the rules are clear, the goal is clear, the ask is clear, people will adhere to that. But they have to know that there is a target, that when we get to X number of cases per day, that's a trigger that allows us to start reopening a bit more. Right now, those numbers are not real clear. And so we need to clear that up so that people have a real sense of when they have achieved what they've been asked to achieve. Otherwise, I think JT's right. People will start doing it on their own, and that will not be a good thing.